That lane is interesting even for the fact that it's so uninteresting. Normally neither of them die. The DK just gets harassed by the Lina all the time. But because of that, it's a very delicate matchup. If you manage to get more out of it than the other, it's purely because of little things like positioning, playing with creep aggro, predicting the position of the Lina to get your breathe fire onto her. She really dislikes getting her already minimal right click damage even further reduced. So it's not a spectacular one, but it is a very interesting one if you want to really get into the details. But otherwise, yeah, it's just usually it ends up as a 50-50 anyway.
Yeah.
Such a classic 50-50.
Well, all I can say is my my mind is completely emptied here, and I just want to see and watch with my own eyes how Mudgolems work together. What kind of things can they bring out onto the table? NIP, however, they're looking strong. They're looking good. They took their second place back in the groups, and if they were to end the last series of the day in a 2-0, just like the others, that would mean that they tie up first place with Viking GG 9-1. But that is for us to discover during this last best of 2 series. I just want to remind and thank all the people who've been watching today and like watching the cast and also the games. Like big help, big support. Love to be back in Dota as well. Like it's been a big pleasure being here. We will continue tomorrow as well with same caster duos as well. So yeah, that's pretty much about it.
It's so good to have a tournament like this that rolls pretty much around the clock, so all the casters in all the regions get to bring you some of that a lovely Dota.
Yep, 24/7 Dota. We got NA also kicking off right after this one, if I remember correctly. So do stay tuned for that as well. Might be starting on the second channel, but then instantly should be jumping back here unless, well, we'll see. The game kicks off and we've got our bounty runes snatched 2-2. They're going to leave 1 for now unless Misha goes there to take it back. Since DK doesn't necessarily want to go straight up for a bottle, so they don't need to leave it lingering. Sometimes you see that one bounty rune being left just as if you have like a Quap or a Storm Spirit or a Zeus who knows that they're going to build a bottle really quick so that they can get that refillment during the laning phase. Like during the first 5 minutes, that is.
I've also seen people completely forget about it.
That
which
too.
is
That is also very true, that you just forget that it ever was there.
Yeah. So up on the top lane here, we've got 33 versus Charlie, and 33, as I said before, Visage is not a great laner, except for maybe in the older times as a tri-laner with the big damage from Soul Assumption. But Alchemist isn't a very threatening laner either. Both of them are just here to get their last hits in, and they'll be happy to trade. Milan will probably also feel safe because he's got a ranged laning partner to nip into mid now and then. Maybe grab some
interesting
rune
move.
Control.
Tiny there. It takes a couple tower hits. Might have mislocated his hero there for a moment. But yeah, I agree. Very defensive lanes on both sides. You could play aggressive on Mudgolems with the Tiny, but you don't really have to. Basically, I think it's just a fight between the support. Maybe do a little bit of trading damage-wise with abilities, but kill potential, it's more on Mudgolem's side.
The Soul Assumption is big.
Yeah.
If they trade a lot of damage, and I could see the Lich going down to a big Soul Assumption very easily.
We also have our bot lane with Void against the Beastmaster, melee versus melee. Then we have Snap and Rubik. Could be an alright lane for Void as long as Snapfire is always there to kill the boars. That's like your priority number 1.
She's just there for the pest control, yes. Which is a bit unfortunate because it does mean that the Rubik and his Fate Bolts will pretty much get to do whatever they want to do. And we have seen error on this Rubik in the previous game and in a lot of games before as well. This man has been impressing me. So
I still
if
have
he
to
gets
get
a lot of
back.
levels here.
I still have to get back. That is so awesome. The pest control granny, and they're at work with the Beastmaster.
Yes.
Lift does come out on Skitter. Looked for a jump. Actually wanted to get the range creep last hit. Just missed it.
Unfortunate for him, but luckily on the other hand there's no new boar coming up in a little bit, so he gets to do that without taking too much damage.
It is a funny fight in the sense that you always say, like, yeah, range versus melee, that's a range win. But in this case, DK also does harass quite nastily back with the breathe fire. Lina does have high right-click damage, but makes CSing a lot harder. He's going to tank spells, tank a lot of right-clicks from Barania. So he's happy with just soaking up hits and the last hits that he can, because it's still very tied, like 14 versus 18. A couple more denies for Lina.
I was about to say, Barania's denies look really good right now. You don't see a lot of Linas that focus on getting the denies out, but that's one of the things that you can do in this DK matchup if you don't push the wave out too aggressively. And he is on it. Smart work.
Yep.
And it's about self-control, isn't it? You're playing Lina. It feels so easy to just, you know, throw your spells onto the DK, keep him low, keep the wave pushed out. But if you want to come out of the lane with an advantage, before you can clear jungles with your spells, yeah, the way that Bornesia is going about it right now is clever.
Yep, I was looking at mid as they went to steal away the action rune. There was an illusion rune. Well, 33 gets the kill on Alchemist, so the Radiant top lane working as intended. Lich
Assumption, baby.
Lich didn't even get to cast the Frost Shield. Really off cooldown.
It doesn't even matter too much, I think, in this lane with all the magical damage, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just watching both of these side lanes just do their thing. Saberlight's getting a decent amount of CS from this, and killing that boar will be more and more difficult with levels. So I think Snap's got a very big priority here to just chill and stick with this lane. Era tries to lift Fada onto the ward spot, so that would have been a high ground that she would have had to wait another 20 seconds for the cookie to jump down. But at least Fada is able to snatch every bounty rune in the bot lane as Milan finds the others, and they leave one for Barania, so they have their 4 bounties snatched in a row. Nip with none.
Yep. And the reason that Saberlight has been getting so much out of this bot lane is because Era got to mess with Fada's pulls. Fada hasn't been able to pull at all, and it means that the wave is constantly pushed up against Saberlight's tower. That's very enjoyable for him. And now, is this an attempt on Baranja?
Yeah, this is
They would love to kill him and immediately take this tower.
That too. That's such a classic move, though, that you hit level 6 on DK, force the tower, start to get the damage output on it, and that catapult is doing a decent amount of damage. Also getting a few hits, but he's tanking the tower pretty nastily here. Ronnie is completely drained out of mana, though. Supreme going for the race for the action rune. There's a regen, and it goes for the Lina. And Supreme will have to let Lina grab that regen for herself.
Very lucky. Half damage on the tower still, though.
Yep. DK should be able to push that down pretty soon. So if we see support rotations coming into mid while they want to try and hold that tower up, that will leave Alchemist maybe defenseless in top, unless it's going to be like Rubik, maybe a level 6 Beastmaster to rotate into mid. So that's like, you need to have either some backup for that or prepared to fight for it. Era takes a lot of damage from Barania, but a really nice juke move as the cookie leads Skitter to the low ground, but Barania will throw the Laguna Blade.
See you later, nerds.
Era's like, yeah, sure. I guess that was gonna happen, huh? And of course, Selena feels safe to do that because she pushes out the mid-wave so easily, gives her a lot of time to disappear off map. And then also, there is no DK ult online right now, so she doesn't actually have to feel threatened. She's going to stick around mid again, most likely now.
Yeah, it's gonna have to. There's like 15 seconds for DK to have his ultimate ready. So if Supreme feels like repeating the same thing again, pop his ulti and just keep pushing that lane all the way under the tower. It doesn't have a catapult this time, which is, I think, the biggest factor for that push. Does he want to commit to it? Got his form ready. He's not doing anything yet. Isha TP's here. It's just stacking camps. Supreme is pinging the tower. Yeah, he wants to go for it. Maybe force some movement from Mudgolems.
Yep, and the move that you see from NIP here as well is very calculated, just immediately stacking, immediately getting Charlie into the jungle. Hasn't exactly had an amazing lane, but it's a good enough start.
Yep.
And 33 gets to, well, push wherever he wants now, and I think he's going to look for the mid-tower trade. Toss back!
Look at that! The Invis tiny body blocking Supreme to the toss so that they get the DK wiped out of the way, and Mudgolems are happy with that one. That must have been okay. Beautiful. Interesting cookie on the familiar. But yeah, that was beautifully orchestrated. Very simple, but very, very good looking.
An absolute assassination.
Now they get to hit the tower instead. And 33 and Barani are getting a lot of damage on this one. 1,100 damage dealt on that. Saberlight finds Fada trying to farm the bot camp, and that's actually with the Necro units, so it might have actually...
I'm gonna see a Chrono in mid.
We do see the Chrono in mid. It's DK being targeted once again. Stuns following up, and DK still holding his ground for now, but one spell should do it, and that is there, the LSA. Gonna be enough. Now Milan getting lifted up by Era. Era has that shield, so he's fine. But they will have to sack this tower, and this is a very good move from Mudgolems, already applying the pressure into mid, knowing that DK is not necessarily the best to hold it all by himself. He doesn't have any damage. He needs some friends around him. And once he's out of the way, you use the Chrono while it's off cooldown, and back to farming.
And in the meantime, Saberlight at least gets some pressure on bot lane. It's not exactly the trade that you want, but oh, hold that thought, another toss. Misha, Misha, Misha.
He wanted to de-ward that. Got the ward out of the way, but Milan also gets a kill. 700 gold towards a possible blink dagger for him.
He's going to be so early on that.
And Charlie's going Battle Fury again this game, even if there's no Illusion Clear heroes to fight against this time. Tiny does get lifted up by Era, stunned up by Supreme. No more lifts or stuns. Nothing else available, so he's out. Meanwhile, they find the Alchemist, and Alchemist has no ultimate. They even use the Laguna Blade, and the Centaur even decides to intervene with a 3-man stun, but the Centaur will also die, just like Charlie.
And they're taking his stacks. This is going to get precarious for NIP real fast. The vision in Charlie's jungle has not even been contested, and with this Visage, they can just move into there so fast. At the very least, there's some space on bot lane now. Milan smoked up.
They want to go on Saberlight. Milan is there. I think they might have seen Saberlight once again. He is juking around the trees. Milan smoke has popped, and they throw the LSA in the wrong spot. The roar on Lina. Okay. Alright.
Saves his life.
It does save his life, though, in a sense. Like, the stun was already used by Lina, but still. Alright, okay. That was just... Almost could say that was a assuring dominance kind of roar.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't mess with me.
Yeah, with the Laguna LCD, no. Doesn't even save his life, is right. It's not necessary. I thought the Laguna was up already.
But it's definitely up for Mudgolems now to apply the pressure, take map control, play the way that they want to do. And IP will just have to respond to movements and hope that Charlie finishes his items as fast as possible. One piece towards Battle Fury now.
It's hard though. You want an initiating item on either of your other two cores, and it's going to end up being the DK, who is pretty far towards the Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
But normally you do that through your natural push and getting some more tower gold, but they only got one of the towers out of the way, which is not necessarily where you want to be with a DK and Beastmaster lineup.
So Skitter finishes off the tower in top, and we are slowly building our way towards the more exciting action-filled part, so to say. This is just Mudgolems playing by the book.
I mean, exciting action-filled? Skitter is buying a Mask of Madness to buy a Battle Fury with. I don't think he's in a hurry.
No, yeah, not in a hurry.
He just wants to keep up.
Who finishes it faster, though, I'm thinking. He's actually only starting to build it. Alk's done already 2 parts.
Oh, obviously,
obviously Alk will do it. I know. Obviously, Alk will do it first. but with the tempo, because they can actually fight with this Mask of Madness and Chrono, because NIP are somewhat defenseless.
Yep. They have so much damage to throw into the Chrono that really... He only has to show up, throw the bubble, and then admire his handiwork. Steam will do the rest.
Tiny's got a few hundred gold to go for the blink. DK's just about to finish his. Needs a tiny bit more.
I imagine that we're going to see a move with that.
Yeah, but Mudgolems might be doing it first. Smoked up with 4 heroes. One who not participating yet is Lina. Lina is coming in with full speed. Almost 500 movement speed. Teleport boots picked up. Radiant scan. No one there. They're on the high ground. Lina reveals herself in mid. It's the move away. There's a smoke on Misha if Misha wants to use it. But right now, Milan is just scouting.
They're just
Walking straight into the arms of the DK. Is like, well, if we can't bait with Lina, I'll do it. It's just walking right into their arms.
No, not this time. Bit overeager on the reaction there from Era. I think they were expecting a big jump though. And it just didn't happen. It was just Milan walking in.
Yeah, well, Era's got toss.
Look at how far up 33 is farming. It's sort of like, yeah, these are my creeps now. You can't do anything about it.
He's
and
got his
those
team
small
behind
things
him.
add up. Yep. But this is the way to hold an aggressive position. Is just really take the creeps that are in front of their noses.
Yep.
If you can get contact while not dying, you're already doing so much for your team. You're giving information, you're farming in a spot where nobody else can, etc.
Yep, Milan
Charlie is farming in a spot where I don't think he's going to be alive for very much longer.
Yeah, he's got his ulti up. They got a lot of nuke minus armor, and the damage is going to be enough for them this time. And they even get the roar onto the Lina, and the ulti from Lich is bouncing back at a 4th skitter, taking a bit of damage, but he manages to remove some of it. There's a Mortimer's Kisses dot on top of Rubik. Rubik is out of play. Saberlight also being chased by 33 with the stun. Milan coming in from the other direction. It's like, you've got no escape here. And NIP have lost 4 heroes. Not that they could have really responded much to Mudgolems, but it all just kind of spiraled from Charlie being the first initiation on, and NIP was like, we still want to fight this and protect our Alk, but Alk was gone, and then the rest just walked to the slaughter.
Charlie shouldn't have been there, but, you know, don't throw good money after bad.
Yeah. They won't go away by tossing coins at them. Unless you've got some really heavy, hurdy, sharp coins.
Yeet.
Oh, that works.
Era stole toss.
And he's got that toss. Yeah, I stole it again, so he's refreshed the duration of it now. Yeah, that works. Toss the DK first time.
I think Era has been one of the most just entertaining transformations that I've seen in a player from this. I used to think that he was fairly boring as a carry player, but here as 4, he really seems to just enjoy the game a lot more, and you can see it in the way that he plays.
I might have remembered a conversation with somebody when Era was still actually playing for Godsent. That he brought up the topic that, hey guys, I want to play mid, or was he want to play core, and the other guys were like, so now that he's playing support and he's really actually rocking it off, so I kind of agree. I think it was a stable carry player, but I feel like he really shines when he's playing this support role. Because he knows how the carry players think and how he would think if he was a carry. So that adapts so well when a player knows how to play both roles.
It's very worthwhile to get some of that experience in after you've mastered your own role, to shop around, see what you can learn for the benefit of your main role by playing other types of gameplay styles.
Mudgolems leading with 2k despite the Alk in this game.
That's always a very bad sign, isn't it? And look at their positioning on the map right now as well. They are, well, they're not farming 3 lanes anymore, but they definitely were before. And there's nobody in the dire jungle right now. It's just NIP does not feel safe farming there. Charlie is standing in mid, waiting for information, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He needs the pressure on bot to go off first, and it's like, well, there's nothing coming. I guess I go back to my triangle, because, you know, they'd love to farm more than just this tiny bit of the map, but they can't.
33 is left as familiars as a ward spot here next to the triangle. Maybe he's just done with microing, I guess. Just, you know, like playing Visage, and just leaving the familiars there. Well, yeah, I don't know if there's much to that. He's just taking... Okay, now he's spreading them out. He's blocking camps with them. That makes a whole lot more sense. That is microing much better than what we're getting debated into. Or me, at least.
That's such a dick move. But, like, an amazing dick move.
Alright, Snapfire getting roared. Necro units doing a decent amount of damage, but Saberlight actually backing away because he thought that, yeah, if he stays around, there's a TP. There's a Blink Tiny coming in. And Saberlight's life is in peril. Avalanche toss. Snapfire misses the abilities, but Barania has Laguna Blade if they need to use it. They don't. Right click, down to death.
There's still 4 people react from Mudgolems. I think they could have done that more efficiently. But they actually also took a lot of damage from just killing off those Necro creeps. That's pretty funny. Anyway, not much that Mudgolems get out of that. Apart from the fact that 33 is now going to be posting here.
Misha's here once again, and he's like, alright, well, there's no sentries blocking these camps. It's these 2 birds. A Supreme wants to get...
Can we kill them, please? Cores, thank you.
Yeah, alright. 100 for Misha, 100 for Supreme. 33 spawns some new familiars. Wonder if he's going to keep on doing that. That's such a smart thing. He's been doing it for quite some time.
So, for NIP right now, at least they're holding steady. They haven't lost any more heroes, and they have some item progression coming. Charlie...
Don't say it yet. Don't say it yet, because they are smoked up, and they're making their way forward.
These are the 2 most tanky targets, though. Yeah. This change of direction is much better.
Era's been chilling at this one spot for quite some time. Supreme and Misha and Charlie are here. Skitter goes for the chrono. Got 2 inside. Mortimer's kisses inside. An Alchemist is melting and Charlie's gone. Supreme has nothing to give once his friends are gone. 3 gone from NIP. And Mudgolems get what they looked for. Even the 20-minute bounties. Some DD runes. Go Roche from here.
I really enjoy Mudgolem's movement there. They wait a bit for information, then decide to take a high ground position where they will always be able to cut the fight in half because they know that Saberlight is on bottom. And the fact that it doesn't even matter anymore because they have so much damage, you shouldn't look at that because what's important is that you need to have this habit of doing it the right way for those moments where it does matter.
Yep. That is Roche picked up, so Skitter will get the Aegis for himself. NIP must be feeling it now that the game isn't really going in their favor. Like, they're being outplayed in terms of, at least their camps are being blocked. Alk ain't getting that much farm. We're actually playing behind with an Alchemist. And Tiny will be a bit of a collateral damage here, but at least he gives info so that 33 can push top, since 3 heroes were focusing on him.
And I think one of the problems here is that Supreme is trying to get to this BKB, and of course you should wait for your timings, but at some point they should have, once again, if you make no attempts at pressure in your push towards these timings, then the enemy gets to decide where the game moves and what's going to happen. You're always going to be playing reactive, and I definitely think that if they would have done something on a side lane, or, I mean, Saberlight has been doing things on a side lane, that Supreme should have been on standby to try and get a snipe in on his mid tower, for example. It's one of the things that you can do with a double push lineup like this. And that just hasn't really happened. He's just been making use of the space that is being created as if he's the carry, but he's not. And it's the same thing that we were praising him for in the previous series. Like, he took the initiative, he played a very sacrificial upfront role, and now he seems to be very much more intimidated and waiting. Like, sure, going for the tower probably would not have benefited his scoreline, but it would have benefited his alpha.
It definitely would have. Almost got a BKB up on DK, but is that going to be enough for them? Alchemist with Sanj and Yasha going for AC. All these items that NIP are slowly getting together, but they've had to give so much away this game. Like, they could have really responded
Saberlight
much
again
against Mudgolems, and yep. Oh. Link and Sonlina, so that was actually Beastmaster ulti straight into Lincoln. So yeah, that's well, he'll have it back up once they're respawning again. 30 seconds down once he's respawned, but still, Mudgolems can just basically rock the map like they do right now, what they want to do. Still
Here
naming
again,
the pace.
NIP are moving forwards in mid lane, but they're already late. They lost their bottom tower, whereas the forward positioning of Saberlight should be an indication for them that they should also forward position on mid to grab the objective there, because you can see that NIP does want it. They do know that they need it, but this lack of someone reminding them and pushing them seems to be really coming into play again here.
Yeah, things are getting even spicier. Tiny's building an E-Blade right now. Support pause for Tiny. He's already got a Ghost Scepter and going for an E-Blade. So, okay, that's just going to make Lena's life very interesting. However, Supreme going with the Blink Stun onto Visage, and they might have the damage for it. They've got the Alk Stun landing in a very long arc there. But Charlie's also tanking a bit of damage here. Tiny is slowly melting down. The Roar is going to be up in 10 seconds. Milan is down. Misha will get the kill, and the Chrono will connect from Skitter. Is catching two. He's got the DK on the Alchemist inside, and Alk is dropping really low. The Guna Blade will do the job. And now Supreme. Skitter jumping onto the next target as well as Saberlight. Saberlight going for the Roar, to the Faceless Void, and at the same time, he got the stun into the DK, and he's got himself that armor, and he's tanking a lot, but he's lost so many teammates that he's going to have to give his life away. And Rania going for the triple kill while they're still chasing down Saberlight. Skitter has got a jump available right now. He reads a bit too far, but it's still going to be enough for the slow. The allies say ultra kill for the Lina, and only the Lich survives. There's not much remaining in this game since that fight was important for NIP.
Oh yeah, it was. Like, that sort of over-positioning for Milan allowed Mudgolems to wait out the entire BKB. And that is the item that NIP had been waiting for. It's been explicitly waiting for this timing. And Milan says, alright, I have a buyback.
Rubik steals the Avalanche at least. The glyph has been used. That's a 5-minute timer for Mudgolems to try and punish again. So they're going to wait a little bit, even though their Aegis is going to run out in 45 seconds.
Well, at the very least, Era just got himself a cool 200 gold by bursting down the familiars. But yeah, it's this is looking rough, and they don't have a lot of plays to make at this point.
Yeah.
The initiation is always going to have to be the DK, but he's also an integral part of their creep wave clear. It's so hard to not give Mudgolems all the information that they need to just avoid you.
Yeah, you talked about the 200 gold for picking up on a familiar when you're 200 to 12,000. Like, I need a lot of familiars this game to come back together.
The Era just needs a blink. I don't think he even cares about the result of this game anymore. He just wants a blink there.
Yeah.
He's gonna steal something and he's gonna do something cool. And sometimes that's all you need to stay in a game like this. It's just like, there is another goal,
look at this,
you know?
Look at this setup from NIP. They've already broken the Lincolns from Lina, but there's a Lotus Orb, and Lina's item build is intriguing and fascinating at the same time. You've got the basic TP boots and Yules, but an AC for Lina. Yep. I love this item pickup from her.
They have this AC ready just in time where they want to go high ground. And it's not because the Lina needs it, but because the team needs it. And that is... It is beautiful. It's exactly the kind of item choices that we saw from NIP in the previous round.
Chief Skitter can find some more people. Fada will walk straight into Supreme, gonna get stunned up. Alcus here, and where is your Void? Where is he gonna jump into? He's trying to catch a lot of people, but he gets roared up by Saberlight. Fada and Supreme are both down. Alcus just dishing hits, and there's the Chrono, and the right-click damage coming from Verania, and Alchemist is out of play. And NIP, they're only able to find one support. They're gonna lose several heroes, including 2 cores once again. And Mudgolems, looks like this is their time to end this. Give the finishing blow, because there's nothing that NIP have left in store. They've given everything, and it's not even close to enough.
This is, you know, Mudgolems could also win this game with much more conventional item build on their Lina. But they don't, because they have this idea of, alright, we want to go high ground. We want to have the habit of, you know, getting this AC done, because we don't need more damage onto heroes necessarily, or like a bigger scoreline for the Lina. What we need is the ability to take down buildings.
See you later, nerds.
Yeah, that's... The fact that they execute so much better than NIP that it's not even necessary is just icing on top. I'm very impressed.
Yep, 22 to 5, 18,000 gold ahead, almost 30,000 XP. How much does that relate to in levels? Oh boy. I wish I didn't press E.
Yeah, that hurts, don't it?
The moment when you realize that Alk is like smaller level than the Granny.
It's been such a rough game, and NIP could have maybe thrown bodies at the problem.
Slight piece of hope there, but the cookie does manage to break that lift direction. While the push is happening in bottom, looking for a second lane of Rax. Onto Skitter. Lich ulti. Roar will go out. Toss to safety to 33. Skitter's only lost 1,000 HP, and you just use 2 ultis for that. Now, how do they turn this around? Era still trying to break that Lincoln's on the Lina. Supreme coming in from the side, but Granny's just shooting with that machine gun. While Borania, now Milan actually intervening onto Charlie, goes for the stun. The Ghost Scepter soaks up the damage, and Alchemist isn't moving anywhere. Charlie's like, where are my buddies? Where are you guys? Where are you? And he's gone.
There's
GG.
just no damage. Just no damage on NAP at this point. They've been itemizing defensively because they felt they had to, and they come to a point where they can't fight regardless. Just get squeezed all the way out of the game.
Well, first game watching Mudgolems, and I like what I see. Get that scene correct there. Hang on. There we